All right, what's up, everybody? Will here from Flow Candy, and today we're breaking down Huda Beauty. I'm really excited about this one for a couple of different reasons. One, this is just another billion-dollar beauty brand. I love hearing about that, and it's a challenger brand. Like this brand is, 10 years old, a little more than 10 years old. I love hearing stories. Like she started this with, I think like a $6,000 loan or something like that, and was able to grow it into a billion-dollar brand. I also love that she also bought this brand back. She sold it in 2017 for $1 billion. So I think it launched 2013, $6,000, and by 2017 had $1 billion exit, which is wild, especially in like consumer goods. And then was able to buy it back. So one, it shows that she really is passionate about it and believes in it, and also that she had the capability to do that. She started multiple brands, sold them. There's a lot to dive in. She's also a daughter of an immigrant, and she's Huda, who started this, is not she's not like a celebrity. I mean, she is now because of her brand, but she wasn't like the Kardashians, who had like a TV show and were able to leverage that into a lot of these enterprises. She literally started just as in makeup and helping out celebrities with makeup. So it's really, really interesting. And on top of that, they do email marketing actually really, really well. So I'm going to dive into that. Before we get started, a couple housekeeping notes. So here you can get access to our benchmarking strategy. So I have all these like tabs, and I'll go through it. We obviously have the breakdown here that you can access, and you'll be able to see, I think we have about a year's worth of emails here from January 2024 to May 2025. And if you're interested in other breakdowns, you can check out Flow Candy, and you can go to our breakdowns page here, and we have tons of different breakdowns. If you're into beauty, I would check out the Tarte email breakdown. We broke down Rhode, who recently sold to e.l.f. Rare Beauty we've broken down, and just other sort of consumer packaged goods, D2C startups, Kylie Cosmetics, Joel. There's a lot of different brands we've broken down. So feel free to check those out if you like these breakdowns. Okay, so let's dive in to this breakdown, and I'll just start. I'll kind of go back and forth from each document. So just first off, I wanted to talk about how big this store is. So this is pretty big. She's driving 3-4 million visitors a month. So that's a lot of traffic. That's more than, I talked about e.l.f. I just talked about e.l.f. I just talked about Rhode Beauty. I'm pretty sure that's more traffic than both of those brands are driving. So serious amount of traffic. This is up in Kardashian land. Skims, I think, might be more like 10 million. I think they're the biggest Kardashian brand I've seen. So, they're driving serious amounts of traffic. And in terms of just the tech stack that they use, so this is a Shopify store, and they're using Klaviyo to deploy the email marketing, and then Attentive to do the SMS marketing. I'm pretty sure the pop-up is through Attentive as well. People always ask me like what tools they use, so that's what I observed. They're sending about 10 emails a month, which again, I think is a really good balance. Not too much, not too little. You'll see a lot of these brands like trying to send like 30 a month. And also she flexes, or her brand, they might send 20 one month, and then they might only send 4 another month. So they really know like when to put the foot on the gas. And same thing with the promotional strategy too. They only, benchmarked it maybe like 25, maybe 30% of their emails you could consider promotional. And they will go hard when they're in a promotional period, like Black Friday or Cyber Craze, what they did in 2024. Again, they went really hard, just as hard as any brand you would see, multiple emails every day, very promotional. but then they'll roll it back and they'll get way more into other types of angles that are non-salesy, non-promotional, and non-promotional sales periods. So I really love the balance, the angle balance this brand has. They're one of the better ones I've seen at this. Now let's jump into the actual angles themselves in the strategy. So I benchmarked them pretty high. So just so you know, people ask me sometimes like, hey, what does the scores actually mean? So I consider anybody over 10 to be pretty competent at email marketing. 15, if you're over 15, it means you're really, really, really good, or your brand is really, really good. And then if you're like 18, 19, over 20, I've benchmarked one or two brands before over 20. That's who I consider like world class. And an example of this would be Breeze, the CBD brand that we broke down. I've also broken down Recess, another brand that's sort of adjacent to them. So these guys, the team behind that, just are doing everything. But I mean, again, if you are over 15, like you're doing a really, really good job. And they do a lot of really good things here. So they'll send a lot of, they do the promotional emails. They'll also do various amounts of content emails, just because Huda, she's so prominent on social media. So they'll mix and match that. The one thing I didn't see, I was surprised I didn't see an FAQ email, because one thing they do really, really well, and I'll talk about that, is their social proof emails. They send some of the best social proof. They like really mix and match the social proof emails. It's not just like, hey, this is an email with reviews or something like that. They're mixing and matching a lot of different types of social proof. Like if they get featured in press, they'll do a lot of that. So a lot of different angles there around social proof. And they do really good with product launch, collection, product focus, before and after. You see a lot of this in beauty. They even do surveys, which I found interesting. A lot of brands don't do this. So you can tell they're like trying to listen to their customers. They'll do trending now. Again, if you are a brand that relies on social, or any beauty brand that has a lot of social media presence, trending now is a great email angle to send. In fact, I talked about Elf. Elf sends a trending now email every single week. So it's a theme that they come back to every single week. They do collabs, limited editions, early access, great at product launches. They'll even do team member spotlights, gift guides, and they'll even do some charity stuff. So again, pretty good score here, doing a lot of different things, mixing and matching it up. There's also a couple other things they're doing, new angles that I sort of discovered. One would be this cross promoting. So Huda owns multiple stores. She owns like a fragrance line too that she recently sold. And, there's a lot of cross promoting there, which I found really interesting. So if you are a brand, or you're watching this and you work for a brand that has multiple portfolio companies, you could learn some stuff here. They have this really cool timeline email. The steps, X steps, I call it basically 5 steps to do this or 4 steps to do that. You see a lot of beauty brands do this. So that was cool. Huda's hacks, I thought this was you'll see a couple of these. It's similar to the routine, build a routine, or the steps type email, but it's more like, I've never seen it framed as a hack, which is kind of interesting because that's what a lot of these people are doing. If you watch like glam up videos online and stuff like that, it's like they're hacking it together. So I thought that was cool. The coolest angle I've seen though is this product 1 versus product 2, and I'll show you that in a second, where it's like comparing two of their products in a category. It's very similar to a category feature type angle or a product feature type angle, but it's comparing the two. And I've never really seen that. It makes total sense. And it's something that I'm definitely going to swipe from. And then get the look. You see this a lot in beauty or fashion apparel. So there's some other angles I observed. So let's jump into it. I'll start in January 2024. And I'll start with, do we have the product 1 that I just talked about? So this is what they did, pink versus peach. I thought was really, really cool. This is like a collection first collection product, first product here. Really cool. Never seen it. So if you are a brand that is launching, because they did this around a product launch too, which makes it even cooler. So if you are a brand that's launching products and you have like multiple products in a collection, or you're launching a collection, you could do that. Where, especially when the products are very, very similar, like in beauty, where it's like different shades. So that was really cool. And then this is the cross promotion stuff. They do a lot of cross promoting her fragrance line. This is this email right here in particular is a collaboration email. So they got a point for that with Wishful, but also it's a steps email, like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So if you're in beauty, if you're in even, this works very well in supplement space too, building a routine. Yeah, we do these emails a lot. They do really good. Moving into February again, it is the cross promotion. It is the collaborations. More collaborations. Baking 101. This is more of like a content email, I would say, but also they get into like cross promoting sales. This is like where I think they do social proof emails really well. So again, this is one, and this is, they've upgraded their email design system. So this is in 2024. So when I get into 2025, it'll look a little different, but this I would consider a social proof email where they're highlighting that they want a Reader's Choice Award. So it's not just like, hey, here's these customer reviews, here's some UGC. There's all sorts of ways to show social proof in digital marketing, and I think they do a good job of this. Here's another content email where it's like Huda, she's trying to connect with them, like, hey, this mistake that almost killed my company. Cool to see that. Yeah, I mean, moving in, this is more steps, a lot of cross promotion. These are promotional emails, spend and save. It's not just like get 15% off or something. Also the Huda hack, what I talked about earlier, this is what it is. It's like a Huda hack, combining it with the steps. Really good stuff. So let's see, what else did I have that was really interesting? March of 2024, did we go over the hacks, steps, product 1? Let's find that timeline email that I wanted to show you guys that I found was really interesting. This was December 2024. Yeah, so I thought this was pretty cool. Towards the end of the year, they did a timeline of the year, like the best of 2024. I mean, you could use something like this all across the email marketing lifecycle. You could put this in a welcome flow for people to learn more about the brand. It doesn't just have to be like an end of the year snapshot. I mean, you see this on like about pages. So I thought this was really cool. I've never actually seen it in an email format. But yeah, just talking about, her timeline for the year. Also, this was a good sort of letter from the CEO, if you want to call it. We'll use that angle sometimes. So that was cool to see. Moving into, as you can see, they changed design styles. It was really September last year. I think they went through some sort of rebrand. Again, this is the routine emails. Signing up for event, like meet in person, I thought was pretty cool. One thing that I wanted to talk about was how well they do referrals. This is one tactic that I want to try to get going more with our clients. So they do this in a lot of their emails. Specifically, I'm seeing it in the more recent ones, like right here. So if you go into looking at April and May, give 20%, get 20%. So they're trying to get their team, their people on their team, or their customers to refer a friend. And you see this block in every single one of their emails in April, every single one of their emails in May. They're even switching up the creative here, highlighting more customers maybe. So I really like that. I thought that was cool. I would love to know like how successful it is, because I think that, getting referrals is the best form of marketing, in my opinion. I mean, think about it. If you're at a party, if you get an ad to buy, let's just say to buy like a new car or something like that. Okay. You get an ad like that might be effective. You get an email that might be effective. You might see something in the newspaper, or listen to something on a podcast. But if you're at a party and someone tells you how great this car is, you're much more likely to be influenced by that. Or let's think of like a smaller example, like someone tells you to listen to this podcast or read this book, like you're much more likely to go out and try that. So, this is it's hard to pull off in digital marketing, like word of mouth marketing, referrals. And it's even harder to do in email, for example. But yeah, it was really interesting to see this block that they have down here. And I would be interested to see what tool they're using to do that. But you see they have it here and they have it in this footer. They're also trying to drive people to loyalty. They're also trying to get people to sign up for text messages. This might even be dynamic. Like they might have it where this block here, people who are already subscribed to SMS do not see this block. But my hunch is they're probably not doing that, that's a little harder to pull off. And because they're using Attentive and Klaviyo and they're not on a consolidated tech stack, like they really would need to probably migrate over to Klaviyo SMS to be able to like really do that at scale. But anyway, that is basically a breakdown of everything they're doing. I think that's basically all that I have outlined here that I want to talk about. So it's a really good brand. I highly recommend checking them out, and going through this and just looking. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff you can look at here, how they're designing emails, how they're featuring products. It's not just the angles. They do a really good job with the creative too that I didn't really talk to that much. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. And again, head to FlowCandy. If you like more breakdowns, head to flowcandy.com/breakdowns, and you'll see a lot of the breakdowns we have of other brands. Thanks again for watching. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next breakdown.